Welcome to the Wisdom of the Buddha channel. If you are interested in more subtle worlds and the concept of posthumous existence, this video is for you. If not, you can safely skip it. In Buddhism, there is no dualism of good and evil. Problems and rewards depend on our actions and causal relationships. This helps to avoid many difficult questions that torment followers of other systems. Note that in Buddhism, there is no dualism of a good creator God and a bad devil. It is even more important that the problems that a person has are not caused by evil, by the intervention of some entity that spoils everything, but by the mind and behavior of the person himself, as well as a chain of cause and effect relationships. The rewards that you receive are also not caused by the fact that someone encourages you according to certain rules set by him. Again, you get the results of your actions from how your mind functions, and the fruits of cause and effect relationships. Therefore, in Buddhism, there are no such unsolvable questions that often torment followers of other systems. For a Buddhist, the answers to them are obvious. For example, why is it that if God is good, children are dying, there are wars, hunger, and all kinds of suffering? Children are dying because of heredity and other very logical reasons that are known to us according to our level of medicine. But these children were born here as people because this is their personal accumulated karma, and this is how their mind functions, which body corresponds to it. Wars still there is, because people took up arms and went to kill each other, and for this they have their own social attitudes, economic reasons, and political system. Insufficiently developed compassion hunger in modern times is the main artificial phenomenon, caused again by the behavior of people, often very specific. And life is full of suffering because we were born in our sensory perception in view of our karma in this world of people who are far from the best, while corresponding to the state of our mind other similar questions, such as, why can't I be? Good people, according to Buddhism, need to practice, and make an effort, just like building muscles or mastering any skill. Why do I have to? You don't have to be good. But if you are conditionally good, the results you get will be better. But if you are conditionally bad, they can be terrible. Why can't something else be good? Again, according to Buddhism, everything is possible. The only question is in the consequences in which you get short-term and long-term from each specific action. As you can see, many painful questions in Buddhism are very simple. The answers to them are logical. But what about God the Creator, the one who created our world and the entire system in this way? Of course, there are people, those who believe the circle is a set of coincidences, and the very fact of the existence of life is an accident. But anyone who can observe will be amazed by the most subtle and complex system, the structure of the obvious thoughtfulness of the world order, from tiny microorganisms to galaxies. And if you change something just a little bit, all this could not exist. Often, parts of any being, objects, and phenomena do not occur alone. From others can function only if they appeared simultaneously, with a single purpose. However, for Buddhism, it is not. Whether you consider the world to be purposefully created or accidental, it does not matter that the world exists and it is like this. In Buddhist cosmology, our universe collapses after unimaginably long periods of time and then is reborn. Modern astronomy is close to recognizing such a phenomenon, from the theory of the Big Bang to the assumption that there was a previous universe before the current Big Bang, and the current one also it will end in compression, and a new Big Bang by the end of the next cycle of the universe. In Buddhism, the beings of the world in a subtle form, and the restart of the universe will not affect them. But those who fail to cope with this task will be destroyed accordingly. There is no need to worry about it. As far as we know, our current cycle of the universe began relatively recently, at the very beginning of a new cycle of existence of this universe, at the time of the so-called radiant Brahma world, which we reached in the past. The cycle of Brahmas in Buddhism is called the virgins of the higher worlds. When the first being of the world is radiant, Brahma dies. He does not fall into perfect, an empty universe, where there is no one being very powerful, just incredibly impressive, and having arisen there, it remains alone, not remembering what was before. And here, an interesting moment occurs described in the Suttas. This being, this first inhabitant of the new universe, incredibly powerful and beautiful, argues that it would be good if other entities existed in this world. And soon, from the worlds are radiant, and Brahma and other deities do not fall off, know as they died on the highest world, and are now reborn in a new universe. Rahman begins to think of himself as the creator of beings, because he willed the creatures to arise. The born beings, in turn, begin to consider him the creator. And this is very logical, because the first one to appear is the most powerful, lives so long that it is almost eternity, and can create many things. But he did not create the creatures themselves. The Buddha claims that some ascetics and hermits lead a holy life, engaging in spiritual practice. By practice, they can recall their past existence in the world of Brahma, on the basis of which they claim that there is a creator God. A creator God who created them and then overthrew them is a direct experience, a revelation, but still incomplete and limited. Although, given the size of the universe and its cycles, any knowledge is relative and limited. That is, even if we climb to the top, to the first being who appeared in this universe, the most powerful, beautiful, and capable of creating, then this is not the beginning, is not the primary source, just one of the cycles. But if not Maha Brahma, if not the first creator of the cycle of basic laws and beings who appeared in this world, who inhabit the universe, who the Buddha proclaimed that it is impossible for us to find out or determine the root cause of the wheel of rebirth of beings who rotate in it, or find where it began. And any speculative constructions about the origin and boundaries of the universe were not approved by the Buddha, because they would not lead to any positive result. And Tunu cannot understand the microbe living on my arm. My motives are to understand what I'm doing because he's so small that even I can't see him, and he basically can't see me. That is, if we try to build some speculative concepts about the real original source, the real creator, it will only lead to a lot of problems to clog our minds and slow down our progress. but we still don't have the right results. As for us, the devil in Buddhism, there is a creature very similar in characteristics to the devil. His name is Mara. It is curious that in Slavic paganism, Mara, she is Marena, is the goddess of death and winter and night, and accordingly, the effigies of the Moraine are burned on Shrovetide. So Mara is mentioned more than once in the sutra to him as well. He was also engaged in direct attempts to tempt the Buddha. After his enlightenment, he persuaded the Buddha to take paneer, that is, to die of his own free will, as enlightened people can do, so that the Buddha would not teach others dharma. The Buddha refused, motivated by compassion for living beings. He also tried to frighten the Buddha, convince him of a variety of wrong things and concepts. There are whole cycles of sutras where Mara tries to tempt or frighten monks and nuns. Mara is one of the elder devos. How can this word be translated? But the translation, the words Virgo as gods or angels make a serious mess of our Western worldview, since in Buddhism, a large number of beings are called Virgo, who are stronger, longer-lived, and more satisfied with their existence than humans. These beings live conditionally above us in the worlds of Valoka, or heaven. They do not control anything at all, or have other characteristics that we usually put into words. The gods. They are mortals who live for a very, very long time, are individuals like people with their own inner world and their own way of life. So we will not translate this, the word in general, in order not to spoil the meaning of the term, is a literal translation of the word Virgo from Sanskrit. Shining Mara rules over some other Virgos and lives much higher. Moreover, he is also marked by the title in the Sura of the highest of those who exercise dominion is evil Mara. How is it that the evil one lives in such good conditions of the heavenly worlds and is so powerful? Those who have good karma are reborn in higher worlds and have a much better body than ours. But nothing lasts forever, and everything is changeable. Over time, Mara began to harm others in his own way. It probably looks very logical to him. We have seen this with you more than once. And using the example of people, especially rulers, starting as a conditional good ruler, he eventually becomes a dictator capable of terrible things, and most likely justifies it for himself in some way. The Mara of the mighty is not eternal. It is difficult to even imagine what a terrible place he went to after his death. No one will escape the consequences of their actions unless they do something about it. In Buddhism, it is believed that you should not worry about Mara. Practice in general, and everything will be fine in the morning. On this occasion, the evil Mara has not been able to get to you. He will lose all interest in you and leave. The Buddha described in detail that Mara cannot harm those who practice correctly. Therefore, it is not worth fighting him. He has power only as much as we allow him to. If you liked this video and you found it useful, please like and subscribe to the Wisdom of the Buddha channel. Your support helps us to continue sharing knowledge and inspiration. Thank you.